episode out. I was gonna put an episode out yesterday. Happy post Valentine's Day, everybody. But Tiffany wasn't feeling well, so I didn't want to kind of want to spend the day with her. It's Valentine's Day, so in the interest of Valentine's Day, doing a post Valentine's Day episode. We're gonna talk about a little bit of everything. It's more of a vent session than anything. Um, I got I took a walk yesterday around Paonia, tiny little town we live in, 1,400 people, and I saw a lot of lovebirds just wandering around hand in hand. It was kind of sweet. It was some kind of sweet to see that. Most of them were young. Didn't really see any old people. Not sure if there's anything behind that. I and no matter what you think about Valentine's Day, I think it's commercialized. Sure, Hallmark, $1 billion company. Hallmark makes money off of the idea of romanticized love. So but whatever you think about it, I think it's not bad to have something maybe to remind you, like, hey, you know, hey, this is do something special for someone you're with. So whatever you think about it, I think it's kind of a sweet fucking reminder. I remember when I was having my girls, I get them all roses. I give my exes, girls roses, put them in their room and stuff. If you got a boy, it's a good idea to have him do something for his mama. Chivalry is not dead. I think we still need to promote men doing things for women. Raising young men to respect women, and I think it could be a good excuse. Valentine's Day could be a really good excuse to love on whoever the fuck you love, to teach little girls how they should be treated, kind of tickle their heart a little bit because you're gonna be your first daughter's love, and to teach young men the certain aspects of that. So I think no matter what you think, and it's funny, romanticized love. I don't think that came around until around the 1400s, right when the Romantic period started. I believe it was around the 1400s. Don't quote me, I might be wrong. And through poets and stuff, and Shakespeare was actually really big later on, romanticizing Valentine's Day and love and stuff like that. Before that, before it was so romanticized and we had this idea of romantic love, it was more of a utilitarian type thing. So you had arranged marriages, and it was all really just kind of transactional, which I think, I got some flack online for this, for saying, relationships, any relationship you're in is transactional anyways. I mean, it doesn't, it might sound kind of dry and not so romantic, but if you're not benefiting each other's lives, there's no reason for you to be there. So I think everything's transactional. We get something from the person we're with, and we give something to the person we're with. We all serve a purpose in that way, right? Or we wouldn't be together. So yeah, whatever you think about Valentine's Day, this is just going to be a thought session right now. Whatever you think about Valentine's Day, I think I believe it's a good thing to just kind of have a reminder. That's nice. We get caught up in everyday life. We get caught up in work, stress, bills, running the household, dishes, laundry, all this other shit we get caught up in when we are with somebody, we're living with somebody, we're in a committed serious relationship. I don't think it's a bad idea to have someone remind you to lead with your heart for a minute. So that's what I was going to do this episode yesterday, but and so I read up on Valentine's Day. I guess it comes from some Roman history and some Nordic history and Christianity, and it all kind of just got mixed mixed in together. And I was going to talk about red flags today. So I'm not sure if I should talk about red flags, green flags, or orange flags, whatever, yellow flags. I don't know. I don't know what you would call our perception, our perception of red flag that might not actually be a red flag, or perception of a green flag. Um, but I think in the spirit of Valentine's Day, I'm not gonna creating divisive language. Maybe we could talk about kind of how to run a relationship and keep that spark in there a little bit, you know, because like I said, we get caught up in a lot of just life. Life will throw shit at us, right? And I think, all right, I'm going to say one green flag. I think one green flag is going to definitely be the way you are able to handle the stress that life throws at you together. Because we're all going to have to go through that. Let me scoot this over, get that sun out of my face. So we're all going to have to go through that. So that would be, if I was going to name a green flag, the very utilitarian type green flag, that would be it, because that honeymoon period does wear off, and eventually you are tackling shit together. I read a book by Dr. Stan Tatkin. It was called Your Brain on Love, and it goes through all the neurobiological stuff that goes on in your brain. And it's a I really like this book, and I really like his position on love, on building healthy relationship, because it's almost everything society tells you not to do. And I know this is kind of repetitive. I've said this in a couple of my videos. Hopefully there's someone new watching that hasn't watched this. But all right, this is what happens when you fall in love. So your norepinephrine goes crazy. Dopamine levels skyrocket. Um, Norepinephrine, and you can tell if someone in love with you because their eyes are dilated. All right, so that's norepinephrine. That's your norepinephrine kicking in, and the serotonin levels, which is supposed to alleviate stress and anxiety, lower. So you are hyperfixated on this person because of norepinephrine. You feel really good because of dopamine, and your serotonin levels are so low, you are anxious as shit. Like this is, and a lot of people will get into it something new, or they'll start dating somebody, and they feel all this neurobiological stuff going on, and they'll be like, oh shit, I gotta get out of here. This isn't good. It's my nervous system, or it's triggering me, or whatever the fuck it is. But this is a natural part of falling in love with somebody. So, he talks about attachment theory a lot, and I don't want to go over attachment theory. I think it's played the fuck out. I think everyone talks about attachment theory, anxious attachment, avoidant, anxious avoidant, dismissive avoidant, like all of these. I think that shit's played out, but he did talk a little bit later on in the book about how to create those dopamine spikes, because a lot of us, we were meant to be either polyamorous or serial monogamous. So serial monogamy is where you just kind of bounce from one person to the next, but you're monogamous while you're with that person. So from an evolutionary perspective, that's what we are built to be. And at this point in our life, we live so long, we are tackling new challenges with being together, with being somebody. We're trying to spend our life with somebody, because we're looking at 30, 40 years with the same person. And we've never in history lived this long and had to try to live 30 or 40 years with the same person. So I still see a lot of serial monogamy going around. I I, I think it's kind of against our nature to be monogamous. And I know the jealousy, you get jealousy, but that's more of a mating thing. That's kind of mate guarding and making sure the baby's yours, shit like that. So jealousy does have an evolutionary part in relationships, whether you're monogamous or not. I preach wholehearted monogamy. Of course, had four failed marriages. So I'm definitely not an expert on relationships, but I'm an expert on what you can do wrong in relationships. So I think I can bring a unique perspective. And what he talked about in his book was creating healthy dopamine spikes throughout a relationship, so that you can keep those feel good chemicals going as the relationship progresses, and creating a healthy type relationship. So 'cause a lot of people, they either shy away from that first little falling in love spot, or they run from it, because it's uncomfortable. It's just fucking uncomfortable. Or they dig into it and then think when that part's gone, they need to go look for that somewhere else. People get addicted to it also. So I like what he said about creating healthy dopamine spikes throughout your relationship. You know, if something good happens to you, go tell your partner right away. That's going to create a little dopamine spike, right? So there's these little things that you can do throughout your relationship just to create that little dopamine spike. I know, I know. Ooh, I almost got sidetracked there. I know sex is a very big deal. All right, so you should always keep sexual, keep open, keep experimentative. I think they say 20-second hug releases hormones. Let's say hormones. I'll come up with the word for it here in a minute. Or a 9-second kiss. So I think those are very, very good, healthy things to practice. Um, you just so many fucking things that you can do throughout your relationship, and we're all gonna be attracted to other people. Everyone's gonna, you're gonna see somebody you're attracted to, and it comes down also. This video is a little bit all over the place. I am still fucking loaded on pre-workout, and I literally did not put anything together for this. I just got out of the fuck gym, so it's gonna be a little bit all over the place. So there are these healthy little things you can do throughout a relationship to try to keep that spark in there, and that's where Valentine's Day comes in, right? So maybe if we created our own Valentine's Day, even if you put it on a fucking schedule, like I think you can be very logical about the way you love somebody. Also, put it on a schedule. Maybe go on a date once a month, a couple times a month. Maybe do something together. Sit down. Jordan Peterson talks about sitting down and talking for 90 minutes about your relationship, about your relationship, about how the house is running, about life, about what you're going through. Because a lot of times we tend to get disconnected. I haven't witnessed that in my current relationship. We seem to be very, actually very attached to each other. So we talk about a little bit of fucking everything. Like it's really, but so there are all these kind of utilitarian, which is apparently a word I'm going to use all day, ways that you can keep your relationship healthy. And I think I will leave this scattered around episode at that. Okay, so I'm going to say love each other, 20-second hugs, 9-second kisses, plenty of fucking sex, talk to each other. Just talk to each other. And a lot of that is going to be creating a safe environment for that also. Women need to create that safe environment for men, okay? And I'm a huge fucking believer in that. I think a lot of women can't stomach a man being vulnerable or we want to be able to lay our shield and sword down at the door when we come home. So, and women, it's kind of on us to make sure that woman feels safe. Also, we're the bigger, stronger gender. And I'm going to say gender. So we are the bigger, stronger gender. So a lot of times it's about making each other feel safe for those more intimate conversations. But yeah, just happy fucking Valentine's Day. It was really good to see a bunch of these little lovebirds, even though they were little teenagers. I think that's all I saw were teenagers in this town. Walked around hand in hand, eating food. I took about a 2-hour trip downtown. And downtown's only like 3 minutes away. And it was really sweet to see all these couples. So yeah, keep love alive, love each other right, um, and have a good fucking day. I hope everyone had a good Valentine's Day. And even for the critics of Valentine's Day, I think it's a good reminder, just a good reminder to celebrate each other and to do something sweet instead of laundry, fucking dishes, and shoving our faces. Y'all have a good fucking day.